So I watched the 8th episode of And Just Like That season 2 and I'm still trying to process it. I thought I had fully accepted the delightful chaos that defines this show. However, this episode took me on yet another roller coaster ride of emotions and unexpected turns, leaving me intrigued and slightly confused. I really wasn't prepared for the big mistake thing and I'm going to discuss it excessively in this video. So let's get into it. In my previous recaps, I didn't talk about Anthony almost at all, and that was a deliberate choice because the way his character was treated was just too disappointing for me. I think we collectively loved Anthony in the first season of And Just Like That because his character didn't change at all. Miranda divorced herself, Carrie was lobotomized, but Anthony wasn't, actually still is, the same witty, bitchy, and politically incorrect guy. Unfortunately, from the first episode of season 2, it became apparent to me that Anthony has become the new Stanford. He became the token best gay friend who can be invited and uninvited to the Met Ball as many times as Charlotte wishes. His character usually got only a couple of lines in a scene. His scenes were incredibly short and also led to nowhere, like the one from the Halloween episode. Anthony bumps into a possible former hookup. The guy is like, hello, this is my wife, and walks away. So now what? Did Anthony mistake him for someone else, or is this guy closeted? We never found out. So finally, I am happy to report that Anthony gets a romance plotline. His love interest is a charming Italian poet named Giuseppe. Sorry, I refuse to call him Giuseppe like everyone else in the show, and I'm not saying we have to pronounce his name with the most obnoxious Italian accent we can think of. It's Giuseppe, like Dante, like Catch Me If You Can, working on my tan, Salvatore. And by the way, wouldn't that be so fun if the writers went for the Call Me By Your Name reference? Anthony would be like, Giuseppe, and Giuseppe would tell him, well, actually you've been mispronouncing my name this entire time. But no, seriously, the age difference is there. Giuseppe is an intellectual, just like Elio. Please, Daddy and PK, make it happen. Still, in this episode, we got ghost reference, which was so perfect. Just wash your hands, kids, before touching the food, especially if you plan to sell it later. But I can't wait to see more of the two of them. They're such a cute couple. In the meantime, Miranda starts her Human Rights Watch internship. Yes, the exact same prestigious internship she kissed goodbye so that she could go to LA with Che, which she now miraculously reclaimed, and we didn't even get to see it. What kind of alternative universe is this? The one where Met Gala is called Met Ball and the characters never face any consequences of their own actions? It appears so. Don't get me wrong, I am so thrilled Miranda has started to be on the right path of becoming the feminist icon we desperately want her to be. Maybe someday she will be shaping the legal industry, but the fact she could make whatever decision she pleased and eventually everything played in her favor made her plotline lack drama and tension. I am glad Miranda is getting back into law. She also seems to find herself more and more. I'm glad we're here. I just didn't like the way we got here, if it makes sense. This week, Charlotte is on a journey of self-acceptance. She's about to return to work, she's excited and happy, yet she can't help but struggle with her body image. It stemmed from her time working at the art galleries where the women were young and thin, and so Charlotte decides to try a crash diet consisting of bone broth. It is so realistic that Charlotte would be influenced by someone like Gwyneth Paltrow, who is literally like a Marie Antoinette of our times. Let them eat bone broth, you know? Also, I can't believe how slow Charlotte's journey is compared to the rest of the show. Miranda, for instance, in this season went from being almost an accessory to Che in LA to being a single woman in New York who tries to define her sexuality and is already successful at her internship. And in the meantime, she confronted Steve, returned to the university, and moved in with Naya. So much has happened with Miranda already, whereas Charlotte's arc is literally like 3 episodes ago, she got a job offer in the previous episode, she decided to accept the offer, and in this one, she went to work. That's it. She just went there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Seeing her doing her job might be too much, so let's leave it for the next week. Anyway, Charlotte puts on like 3 different pairs of shapewear so that she can hide her menopausal belly, which I was blissfully unaware is a thing. But then she meets a plus-size co-worker in a crop top. As I said in my previous videos, Charlotte seems to learn important life lessons in almost every episode, so yeah. And just like that, she learned to love her body. Carrie and Aidan are in the honeymoon phase. They're already making plans for the future, coordinating calendars, and trying to figure out when Carrie can visit his charming farmhouse in Virginia and when she can meet his kids and the chicken. It's interesting how Carrie is willing to give the countryside another chance despite perfectly remembering how much negativity Aidan's cabin brought into their relationships years back. Yet Aidan still won't set foot in Carrie's apartment, so they keep meeting in hotel rooms, which apparently costs them a lot. But since when is money a problem for these people? Aidan sold his furniture company, probably for a pretty penny, and Carrie inherited Big's wealth. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I wish the writers would stop writing those fake relatable dialogues and plot points. I'm talking about things like LTW's home office is located in her walk-in closet. Like, sure, her wardrobe consists mostly of Valentino gowns, but you know she's humble because she doesn't have a designated room for her work. Lily and Rock share the same bedroom, yet the Goldenblatts have a space for a Steinway, or like when Miranda shopped for a second-hand mattress. Everyone in this show is filthy rich, and that's okay. They don't have to hide it. Anyway, judging by how Carrie and Aidan's happiness is so over the top, I have a feeling it won't last long. There is something about how their scenes are shot. They have this weird nostalgic quality, as if we were watching flashbacks in a movie. I don't know. There is definitely something off about those scenes, so I expect Aidan will start having some big hesitations in the next episode or two. And speaking about big, Carrie asks Miranda whether big was a big mistake, so let's talk about it. I think it's a weird choice of words, calling the past 20 years of your life a mistake. It's not that simple. Naturally, Carrie's internal struggle to make sense of what her renewed romance with Aidan signifies about her past with Big is understandable. It would be odd if she didn't take any time to reflect on it, to be honest. However, she was with Big for over 20 years and she would still be with him today if he hadn't had a heart attack or Krishnov was a decent man. Carrie picked Big over Aidan many times and eventually was happy with him. I am not trying to say that Big was flawless. On the contrary, he was dismissive, avoidant, and emotionally cold. He often pulled away, like he literally stood her up at the altar. But she wasn't an angel either. Carrie has always been someone who thrives on drama and I guess loves the thrill of chasing unattainable men, or at least that's who she was back then. I think we, the SATC fandom, tend to judge Aidan and Big based on our personal preferences. Like, I think that's why many people are team Aidan. Like, who wouldn't want to be with a tall handyman who has 3 kids? But, you know, knowing the characters of Carrie and Big, they were a match made in heaven. They both had intimacy issues. He was afraid to be more vulnerable with her, and she had this deep fear of domestic boredom. However, I do think Carrie and Big shouldn't reunite in season 6, and she should have stayed single, just like Darren Star imagined. If you didn't know, Darren Star, the creator of Sex and the City, intended for Carrie to end up single. He imagined SATC to end with a conclusion that women don't need to be defined by men or by marriage. But when Michael Patrick King took over as the showrunner, he was more about rom-coms and less about female empowerment, and so I have a theory that the writers are now trying to undo their past artistic choices. They brought Aidan back, but it won't work, and Carrie will end season 2 as a single lady. Mark my words. As I continue watching season 2 and just like that, I find myself being more and more confused. On the one hand, the original characters are finding their way back into their distinctive personalities, and the new characters are also growing on me too. But on the other hand, my criticism regarding the large number of characters and the lack of time for their respective plotlines still applies. And now, not only Miranda's entire character development is undone, but also Carrie and Big's love. The writing is chaotic, and the writers themselves seem to have forgotten the majority of plot lines from Sex and the City. Like, they remember some, but not all of them, and so we constantly get plot holes. Yeah, I didn't enjoy this episode, in case you couldn't tell. I'll give this episode 5 pigeon purses. Yeah, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, just confusing. I think it's the word that I keep repeating in this video. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram if you wish to know how I look. I am not an AI, just camera shy. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye!